Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we're live.
Here we are again.
Takeaways.
Takeaway from Sensei Shinjiro Sasaki.
Shinjiro Sasaki, yeah. What a beautiful story.
You know, it's funny. We always do a little bit of research on people. We get these guests. Sometimes they're recommended by others. Sometimes it's just people that we find one little interesting piece on YouTube or whatever, Instagram. And then when we actually talk to them, we find out so much more about them that is so monumental. And today was definitely one of those days. I was blown away a couple times about Sensei's life story, and I think the takeaway for both of us today is just he's got no quit, right? He's not quitting on life.
No quitting on life, judo. That's for sure.
Yeah, and truly an amazing story. I know you had something you wanted to.
Well, let's pre-frame this a little bit, right? So, yeah. If you're not familiar with Sensei Shinjiro, he is a 5th Dan judo black belt. He was born in Japan and he migrated to States. I believe at 29, if I recall it correctly, and then his life turns. Set of events occur throughout his life, which appear to be completely coincidental. And with first one being the way how he started judo, complete accident. And if it wasn't for the one thing, we would not be talking to him today. Probably thousands of people would not be impacted by him with the knowledge of judo. So what an interesting start to his life. But as all of this is unfolding, there is more and more of these events occur through his life, including Olympic trials, which he puts a lot into. They don't go his way. He talks about all of this. He moves to United States without a word of English or penny in his pocket. He tries going down the judo dojo route, and things don't go according to plan. He even talks about people ripping him off and him being part of a scam where people steal and other things, right? So, and then at the end of all of this today, he's running a very successful judo dojo in Florida, and he does what amazed me the most out of all this, which is he helps kids with special needs. And the big thing is what you just mentioned a moment ago, is not quitting. No matter what life threw at him, quitting judo was not an option. So the quote geek that I am, I instantly pull up my little thing with the quotes, and the one popped right in that I want to kind of plant a seed in your head as you guys are listening to this. The difference between winning and losing is most often not quitting. And it kind of hit me deep on this one, because he had so many reasons to give up and just quit judo.
No, he could have quit on his first day. If you don't listen to the episode right away, him and his friend ordered some gis.
Don't tell him the story.
Don't tell him the story. And let's, they ordered karate gis, and when they showed up, they weren't karate gis. So he had to go take a completely different martial art.
And what's funny about this, his friend still trains karate.
Karate, yeah.
And he trains judo, and this is all because of the single moment, a single event of 2 different gis arriving to their houses.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I mean, and it's so funny. It's like, if you order your football jersey and you get a soccer jersey instead, does your whole life change?
No, this is more like you order a bike and you get a swim cap.
Yeah, and then you hit the pool instead, but you show up. Yeah, you show up for your first racing lesson in your swim cap with no bicycle. And then, he's training his whole childhood. He is training for the Olympics. He does win some major competitions along the way. He doesn't qualify for the Olympics. And he kind of realizes at that point, that he's at his, he's a grown man at this point. He realizes he's physically at his peak, and decides, it's through the conversation, it seems like he decides, all I know is judo, and I'm not going to make my goal. It's time for a complete change. And he packs it up, moves to the United States, picks Florida for a very specific reason that you'll have to find out. I won't give any more secrets out or spoilers, but picks Florida, and his new life in the United States with nothing in his pocket, not knowing English, begins. And even there, so many reasons, so many people I think would have given it up, and headed back home after the trials he's been through.
And he also talks about the culture in Japan as far as quitting is concerned. It's some of these practices and guidelines, if you will, that they have in place, especially at judo dojos, where they do breakfasts for 3 months nonstop as a new student, and quitting is not an option. You're being judged in a sense if you do quit. Who are you? You can't do that for 3 months, and you have whole lifetime ahead of you. What an interesting concept.
Yeah, I think here in the States we put that kind of label on someone at a much older age. If someone works and strives for something, and then they're late teens, 20s, or whatever, and then they quit whatever that pursuit was, they kind of get labeled a quitter, especially if they're at a point where like maybe they're professional and they quit early, they leave the sport early. And it seems like in Japan, especially with judo, they put that label on you at a much younger age, which I think is probably puts a lot of weight on the shoulders of a young kid. Maybe there's a balance in there somewhere between, their culture and ours. But, quitting was at that age where he was, quitting was not an option. At least it came with a big price if he did quit, right?
Most definitely. What an interesting conversation. Hey, so I have a last question before we wrap this up. Is should we put a locked door policy on all jiu-jitsu academies if students arrive late? Let's not review this one here, because he touches on that. And this is an interesting view how things are being viewed in Japan on being late, period, but especially to judo dojos for judo classes. I'll let you guys listen to that and kind of develop your own ideas or your own perception, your own opinion about whether that's right or wrong. But I'm actually curious to hear from our listeners if you think that would work, or that would even adapt in the U.S.
I think we would lose some students, but I also think that the longer I do this, the more I feel like, man, if you can't get here on time, don't show up, stay home. Come up with an excuse.
It's rough.
It is. But leave a couple minutes early.
It's rough.
That's it. Don't stop at Starbucks.
Whether it's right or wrong, it was important to acknowledge we are talking about two different cultures, two different continents, two different cultures, two different people, two different kinds of people, with different, we being brought up differently. And I think that's where a lot of that sources, but again, what an interesting conversation. What an interesting story. I'm really glad. I was skeptical about this, Gary. I mentioned this ahead of time, but I was skeptical about this conversation, just from a language barrier, and I was not sure what to expect from Sensei. But what amazing stories, and there were a set of them.
I was a little skeptical for those same reasons, and then also speaking with him for a pre-interview, I thought today was going to be very technical. It was going to be very judo focused. I knew we'd get into some of the cultural differences, but boy, to really hear such a wonderful, inspiring story of somebody who worked so incredibly hard to get where he is today, and to never quit. Even though he had ample times and ample excuses, I think, man, if a lot of the things that happen to people that we know or what happened to him happened to people we know, I think we would see some quitting. And he just
most definitely.
He wasn't going to let it happen. So really beautiful.
Yeah. Should we consider him American Dream? I mean, did he get there? I mean, that's pretty close, huh?
Yeah, it's I think he's just starting to fulfill it, right?
Yeah.
3 years in with his dojo. But boy, man, the 7 years before that of just diligence, working hard, being taken advantage of, overcoming it. I think he's definitely starting to live that dream.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up for today.
Okay.
On to the next one.
Absolutely, sir. We will talk soon. And thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.